Hi all, my name is Haley Comet and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet where we discuss all things astrology. And today, the astrology of Miss Emma Chamberlain, exploring the birth chart of this internet phenomenon, vlogger, YouTuber, podcaster. I have a, some would say bad, some would say good habit of constantly looking up birth charts of individuals that I find interesting, and her birth chart was fascinating to me, so I thought I would share some of the findings to hopefully support your astrological study along, as well as gain more insight on her if you do resonate with her content. Before I dive in, if you wouldn't mind keeping in the back of your head throughout the course of this video, if there's anything I say that you learn or anything that's interesting, I would so love and appreciate. Like, comment, subscribe, any of those little nudges are truly so helpful for me to continue to create videos. And without further ado, let's explore the birth chart of Miss Emma Chamberlain. Now, very important, I do not have a birth time for Emma, unfortunately. I have my theories, but I'll save those for the end, and we'll go forth mostly analyzing the planets that show up within her birth chart, because we don't know houses nor rising, but again, I have my theory. So Miss Emma is obviously a Gemini. Gemini is very communicative. They're also very witty. They tend to talk very fast. Her Mercury is also in Gemini as well. So I say these individuals have the gift of the gab. They just have a gift of being able to talk and to chat with just about anyone, including a camera. What's important about her Gemini placements? One being, though she's a sun in Gemini, so your sun sign is how you identify in the world, so identifying as this communicative, sort of chatty, sort of social person, she has Saturn right on her sun because her Saturn is also Gemini. So Saturn restricts and modifies the energy quite a bit, and Sun-Saturn individuals tend to be very, very hardworking. They put a lot of pressure on themselves, and they also can struggle with being able to accept themselves. They can struggle with confidence. I mean, Saturn is restriction, Sun is just allowing our light and our radiance to shine out. So it can be difficult for Sun-Saturn people to lighten up. They can seem older even when they're really young. They tend to be older souls. They put a lot of pressure on themselves. They can feel sort of restricted in being able to be their own person. They're their own worst critic. I think that Sun-Saturn is why, you know, Emma sort of has such a self-deprecating lens on herself, a little bit pessimistic. I mean, if you're a Saturnian type, there's gonna be some apathy. There's gonna be some self-criticism. There's gonna be that harshness because it's right on your sun. However, with Sun-Saturn people, you know, they do tend to be high achievers because Sun is ego, it's identity. And with Saturn right there, it's like they identify with their achievements, what they're building in the external world. So they do tend to be high achievers. One other facet that I think is interesting about her Gemini sun is she's a Taurus moon. So that's a sign for a Gemini. So this does mean that she is a waning crescent moon baby or a balsamic moon baby. This is the last moon phase before the new moon. And what this indicates, I have a whole moon phase video if you do want to dive into it, but when you have a waning crescent moon, these types tend to be sort of old souls. They tend to be comfortable in their own solitude, very sort of internal, very introspective. It is considered, some astrologers assert that, you know, waning crescent moons or balsamic moon babies tend to be more of older souls, wiser, more experienced, you know, on this planet. They also can allege that they have a lot of really intense, short-lived relationship with individuals in order to sort out karma that's been building for past lifetimes. Waning crescent moon babies are good at being able to let go. They tend to be very resilient. They tend to be very, very comfortable within their own spaces. Also modifies the sort of social energy of her Gemini placements. Editing me here, but it came to me after filming that because we do not have an exact birth time for her, there could be a possibility that she would be a new moon baby. So the moon did shift into Gemini that day. It was Taurus at the beginning of the day, Gemini at the end of the day. I have my reasons, which I'll specify in a moment, of why I feel like she's a Taurus moon, but I did want to note some of the energy around the Gemini new moon because depending on what time of day she was born, she could be classified as a new moon baby. So I thought I would share some characteristics of that. So the waning crescent moon, as I just spoke of, is that sort of hermit drawn inward energy because it's closing out a cycle. New moon is the beginning of the cycle, so it has a very energetic lens to it. If you think about it, a new moon baby comes in this world when the moon looks absent from the sky. We know it's there, but it looks absent from the sky. So it's like a blank slate full of possibility and potential. And new moon babies have this very excitable spirit where they see potential and opportunity in everything. They tend to be very creative. People born under new moon are very much visionaries. They can struggle with being bored as they are inherently drawn to beginnings. But I always say, everyone has eyes, and new moon babies have vision. So depending on the time that she was born, which we do not have access to, she was either a waning crescent moon, as I specified, or nearing a new moon. But I would say I consider a tonal difference between a waning new moon baby, an exact new moon baby, and a waxing new moon baby. So I think of it as a blend of that old soul spirit with that young childlike curiosity and excitement of the new moon. She also, as a Taurus moon, obviously a lot of her content revolves around food. She gets attached to certain fruits or certain salads that she likes to make. Moon is how we satiate and take care of ourselves. And so Taurus moon, it is exalted, which means the moon loves being in Taurus. But when you have a Taurus moon, you can self-soothe with food. And Taurus does like a certain degree of routine. They like stability. They like to know what to expect. And it's sort of a self-care strategy and tactic. And I think she had mentioned in one of her videos that like grocery store is her safe spot. Like for Taurus moons, like feeling cozy and feeling safe and eating delicious food is something that just inherently makes them feel safe and at ease. Her Mercury and Gemini conjoins Jupiter in Gemini, which is why I think she's found enormous amounts of success. Obviously on social media, Jupiter is luck, Mercury is message. So not only can Mercury Jupiter types typically talk a lot, but they tend to be able to resonate with people, especially in the sign Gemini. Like this is a gift to the gab chart, which you didn't need me to tell you. She has two fire signs, Venus, which is in Aries, and Mars, which is in Sagittarius. So obviously as fire signs, there's going to be a lot of energy. Venus in Aries constantly needs a challenge. And I should just share, the reason I'm doing this video is because I didn't really dedicatedly watch her videos, but she kind of switched up her editing style, and now I think it's pretty interesting. I've been liking her own edit. And so I listened to her podcast, which I've also been enjoying as well. And one of them, she was talking about the need for challenge in one's life. And I wanted to scream, it's because you're a Venus Aries. Challenge is so necessary for Venus Aries and for Aries placements in general, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's about going after what we want, pursuing what we want. It's about the divine spark of life, getting excited and going after it. So Aries types are drawn to beginnings. They're drawn to new starts, and they can feel very down on themselves. They can feel like life is pointless if they don't have something that they're working towards or striving towards. So as a Venus Aries, there does need to be this sense of novelty, or this sense of, working towards something or working on something. And her Mars in Sagittarius does need a certain degree of movement or of exploration. It is retrograde, and I would definitely say when you're Mars retrograde, you can doubt yourself quite a bit. You can even get stuck in self-doubt because the energy of retrograde, it switches the direction. So Mars is how we go after what we want. It's how we put action out there. And with it retrograde, there can be a tendency to doubt oneself before they take action. There could be a tendency to be in one's head about what they should do or what they should not do, doubt their ability to get anything done. It's like with Mars retrograde types, they tend to have a little bit of imposter syndrome, just like doubting that they can get what they want, or doubting that they are strong enough or capable enough or energetic enough. When it's retrograde, it's sort of a different direction. It's a different way of utilizing that energy. So I thought that was interesting in a birth chart as well. Editing me here, quick note, because I didn't catch it the first time I looked at this. She also has Mars conjunct Chiron in addition to that retrograde. So Chiron is the wounded healer. It's that which we have personally been wounded or felt self-conscious, but a way that we were able to heal other people. So typically when someone has Chiron on Mars, they can struggle internally with their own advocacy, their ability to get things done, their even confidence levels at times. They can always feel on the outside looking in, but the gift of a Chironian type is that they can make other people who might feel, on the outside looking in or not like other people, feel accepted or feel healing. And a lot of people, even on the new, editing style, say that her new style is like their comfort video, their comfort YouTuber. And I think this really is attributed to her being a Chironian type with Chiron right on Mars. When you have a strong Chiron aspect, there is this feeling of being on the outside looking in, even though she's this it girl. She still retains that relatability of still feeling awkward and weird and different than other people. And I think that's because of the Mars Chiron, as well as it being retrograde, doubting one's own abilities. I'm glad that she finds exercise healing. I would just mention with Mars conjunct Chiron is that there can be a wound in regards to exercise or fitness. And I don't mean a physical wound. I mean more so emotionally struggling with it or emotionally struggling to find moderation. And I'm not trying to project onto her. That's just a common thing we see with Mars conjunct Chiron. Either it goes where they feel horrible about themselves because they don't work out and they feel less than, they feel powerless to other people, or they can go beyond their limits because they're in such an effort to prove to themselves, I'm not lazy, I'm motivated, I can do all the things, that they go beyond their limits. So she's a South Node Capricorn, and South Node Capricorns, they are very gifted at business. Like, they know business. They know how to make something succeed. And that comes very naturally because South Node is your past life. And her North Node is in Cancer. So, and that's where she's being challenged, is being able to lean into the energy of Cancer, which is sort of just being able to nurture one's emotions, being able to lean into one's own, cycles, to be able to nurture something. So, her cats are a great expression of North Node Cancer, as well as just being present with her emotions and being able to take care of herself rather than identifying purely with one's accomplishments, which is a South Node Capricorn, around being very, harsh, very regimented, very disciplined. With North Node Cancer, these natives are learning, what does it mean to soften? What does it mean to take care of something? What does it mean to nurture a cause, a pet, a child? What does it mean to take care of something? And aside from just, the Capricorn, like, here's the metrics, here's the number, but moving into this space of allowing oneself to feel good, allowing oneself to work with one's own energetic cycles is a huge one, as Cancer is ruled by the moon. Moon is obviously very cyclical, and that's a very different energy than her South Node Capricorn, which ruler is Saturn, which is like, you must do this. You've got to do this. And I feel like this is echoed in her content as well, is this shift of kind of getting out of this workaholic or just feeling like you have to be go, go, go all the time, and shifting into being able to have a little bit more grace with herself and like nurture herself and lean into self-care. And other than her North Node Cancer, she has no water placements. And when a chart is deficient in a certain element, they can struggle in sort of keeping that balance. Now, I'm not saying if you don't have water in your chart that you don't have emotions. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there can be a challenge in accepting one's emotions and being emotionally aware, emotionally in touch, as well as for the people in their life. There can be a struggle trusting one's intuition or trusting one's source energy. And I always say, I'm doing a video on this, but if you're water deficient like Emma, like being near the water is good, spending time like in the water, pool, ocean, things of the nature is helpful, as well as just allowing oneself to cry, get in touch with one's emotions and not demonize those emotions. This is just a guess, but I do feel like her rising sign is Virgo. That is my take. I would love to hear below what you guys think her rising sign is. There's a couple of reasons why I think her rising sign is Virgo. One being is that she's very particular. She's very much a perfectionist, and her love for editing, like in a podcast, she was talking about how much she loves editing, and that's really a Virgo-like trait, is attuning to the details of something to pick apart and to, tell a story. I'm not saying only Virgo risings can love editing, but the Virgo energy does lend itself well to liking to sort of focus in on the details. I also say this because she does seem very, very attuned with health, very concerned with living a healthy lifestyle, moving her body quite a bit. Virgo risings tend to be particular in that way. They tend to be very critical and a little bit more humble. So those are the clues that made me think she's a Virgo rising. Let me know what you think below. Friends, who else would you like me to do? I mean, seriously, this is what I do all day, every day. So I just figure I might as well turn on a camera to record some of my insights when I look up these individuals. So let me know if there's anyone you're curious about, would like my take on. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. You're welcome to join me over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.